It was a heart-wrenching moment for a mother to watch two of her sons stand ready to fight, to kill each other, while she could only sit in helpless silence. Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Katha Yogam. In our last episode, the grand skill display at Hastinapur's arena reached its thunderous peak. We witnessed Yudhishthira's composed elegance, Nakula and Sahadeva's swift swordplay, the Kaurava princes showcasing their varied weapon skills, the fierce mace combat between Bheema and Duryodhana, and finally Arjuna's near divine archery that left the audience breathless. But just when it seemed the show was over, like a shadow rising at sunset, Karna entered the arena. A new challenger. His arrival stirred curiosity in the crowd, joy in Duryodhana, and resentment in the Pandavas. What followed was a series of dramatic and emotional moments that would change the course of destiny. Please take a moment of your precious time to subscribe to our channel. It costs you nothing, but your support will help us bring more captivating stories from the treasure trove of Indian epics to you. Vaishampayana continued narrating the events at the grand arena of Hastinapur. As Arjuna completed his breathtaking display, the crowd was still catching its breath when a tall, broad-shouldered warrior stepped forward into the arena. Clad in natural golden armor and earrings that gleamed under the sun, he walked with calm, assured steps. His very presence drew the attention of everyone present. This unknown warrior was Karna. He gave a brief bow to Drona and Kripa. With steady eyes, Karna said he would repeat and even do better than all that Arjuna had just shown. He made it clear that Arjuna was not the only one with great skill. After asking Drona's permission, he lifted his bow and stepped into position. What followed stunned the crowd. Arrow after arrow flew from his hands with tremendous force and flawless accuracy. The targets shattered, the air rippled with tension, and the arena, moments ago quiet, erupted once more into gasps and cheers. Whispers began to spread like wildfire. Who was this man who dared to rival Arjuna in the art of warfare? Irritated by the sudden challenge from the uninvited warrior, Arjuna confronted Karna without holding back. The tension escalated quickly as both picked up their bows, ready to duel in the open arena. Karna invoked the Parjanyastra, an astral weapon that summoned the very forces of nature. As he released it, thick clouds gathered swiftly above the arena, darkening the sky in moments. A heavy gloom descended, casting deep shadows over the grand platform, especially around Arjuna, who suddenly found himself veiled in misty darkness. Yet, amid this artificial storm, something remarkable happened. Above Karna alone, a lone shaft of brilliant sunlight broke through the cloud cover, falling squarely on him like a divine spotlight. He stood bathed in golden radiance, his natural armor and earrings shimmering as if kissed by the heavens. To the watching crowd, it seemed more than coincidence. It felt like nature had made its choice, as if the sun itself had descended to announce, "This is my son." The spectators, who had just moments earlier erupted in noise, now stood completely silent. a hush had fallen, not out of fear, but awe. Karna, once unknown, was now unforgettable. As the tension between Arjuna and Karna grew, both stood ready with their bows in hand, their eyes locked. But before their arrows could meet, Kripacharya stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. He reminded everyone that Arjuna was no ordinary warrior. He was the prince of the Kuru dynasty, son of Pandu and Kunti, born into royal blood. According to the rules of the arena, Kripa said, Karna too must reveal his lineage if he wished to challenge Arjuna in a formal duel. Only a warrior of equal birth could stand against a royal. The crowd turned to Karna, waiting for his answer. But Karna said nothing. For a moment, he stood still, his eyes no longer filled with fire, but clouded with something heavier. Pain, humiliation. He had trained under great masters. His skills were not by accident. They were earned with years of discipline, sacrifice, and relentless pursuit. Yet, now, in front of thousands, all of it was being weighed against the accident of his birth. A warrior shaped by sheer determination, being told he wasn't enough. The silence in the arena grew heavier. Karna's heart, full of pride and hope just moments ago, now ached with quiet hurt. He was a warrior, with no family or title to speak for him, and yet he did not step back. But fate always finds a way to shift the moment. As the skills of Karna stunned the arena, one man was watching closely, Duryodhana. Until now, Duryodhana was intimidated by Arjuna's skill. But now, he saw the might of Karna, a warrior who could stand against the Pandavas. Without delay, seizing the opportunity, Duryodhana stood up and spoke to the crowd. He said a person could be treated as royal in three ways: by birth in a royal household, by showing heroic courage on the battlefield, or by owning armies and commanding respect. And since Karna had already proved his strength, Duryodhana declared he would give him the kingdom of Anga right here, right now, so no one could question his right to duel Arjuna. With Dhritarashtra's permission, the coronation was done swiftly. The rituals were short but grand. Karna, once a nobody, now stood as a king. In that moment, a bond was sealed, not from childhood friendship, but from shared purpose. Duryodhana needed Karna's loyalty and strength, and Karna found someone who looked past his unknown birth and gave him honor in front of the world. As Karna knelt in gratitude, his foster father, Athirada the charioteer, ran forward through the crowd. His eyes were wet with tears of joy. Karna rose and hugged him tightly, holding on to the man who had raised him with love. But high above, in the royal gallery, Kunti watched with a heavy heart. Her eyes stayed on Karna, on his face, on his golden armor, his earrings. She knew in that moment he was her son, her firstborn, born before her marriage, abandoned in a basket and set afloat in the river. Now, he stood tall, not as a child, but as a rival to her other sons. And she could say nothing. Her lips were sealed, her heart torn in silence. Bheema stepped forward, his temper already flaring. The event had been meant for the Kuru princess alone, but this uninvited stranger had walked in, claimed the arena, and even dared to mock his brother by saying he could do better. That was enough to push Bheema past restraint. His words were sharp and filled with pride. He mocked Karna, calling him a charioteer's son, saying he had no right to sit on a throne, let alone challenge a prince like Arjuna. He said Karna should hold reins, not a bow. The insult echoed across the arena. Karna's hands clenched. His eyes burned with silent rage. He looked up at the sun, as if drawing strength from Surya himself. But inside, the pain was deep. He had shown the world his skill, yet all they saw was his birth. Duryodhana could take no more. He stepped forward, fury flashing in his eyes, his voice like a war drum pounding through the silence. He said a hero's birth was no measure of his worth. Would you question the origin of a mighty river? He asked. Or the birth of a blazing star? He turned to the crowd and reminded them that the weapon of Indra, the Vajrayudha, was made from the bones of the sage Dadichi. That Kartikeya, the god of war, was not born from a womb, but from fire, water, and earth. He went on that Vishwamitra was born a Kshatriya, but rose to become a Brahmana. That their own guru, Dronacharya, was born from a clay pot. That Kripacharya was found on a heap of grass. And even the Pandavas, were they not born through gods? Then, with eyes blazing, he asked, why then must Karna be shamed for his birth? His words echoed in the arena. Some clapped, some stayed silent. But something had shifted. Karna felt it. For the first time, someone had stood up for him, not just with empty words, but with truth. The crowd was no longer one. It had split between tradition and change, pride and acceptance. And in that moment, Karna was no longer just a challenger. He was a symbol, a hero rising from the dust, refusing to bow down. Karna, deeply moved by Duryodhana's support, bowed low with gratitude. When he asked how he could repay this honor, Duryodhana asked for nothing but friendship. Without hesitation, Karna gave him his word. From that moment on, he vowed to stand by Duryodhana through every trial, every battle, and every consequence. But before the long-awaited duel between Karna and Arjuna could begin, Drona raised his hand. The sun had set, and by royal tradition, no combat could happen after dark. Torches were lit. The crowd began to leave. The duel was called off. But the flame it had sparked still burned in every heart. As the night fell over Hastinapura, the crowd dispersed. But the questions remained. Who was a greater warrior? Bheema, Duryodhana, Arjuna, or Karna? Did birth decide a man's worth, or was it bravery? And why had Kunti looked so shaken, like she had seen a ghost? There were no answers, only silence, and the shadow of a battle that had only just begun. The sun had set, but the storm had only just begun. The emotions were raw, and the question of who was the greatest hung heavy in the air. That answer would not remain a mystery for long, because in the next episode of Katha Yogam, Guru Dronacharya demands his Guru Dakshina, and for the very first time, the princess of Hastinapur will face a real enemy, not in a game, not in training, but on battlefield. Don't miss the next episode where destiny sharpens its blade and the princes of the Kuru dynasty take their first steps into war.
If you appreciate our work, please like and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we upload a new episode.